The last performance. In the heart of the bustling city stood an old theater, long abandoned and forgotten by time. Once the crown jewel of the arts, the Grand Marquee had hosted countless performances, but a tragedy had silenced its stage forever. 20 years ago, during a particularly lavish Halloween gala, a renowned magician named Alaric had attempted a daring illusion, a trick that would seal his fate. As the story goes, Alaric had vanished before a live audience, seemingly swallowed by the very stage he commanded. The curtain fell, and panic ensued. After a frantic search, his body was never found. The theater closed its doors, leaving behind only rumors of hauntings and an unsettling presence that lingered in the shadows. Now, a group of thrill-seeking urban explorers, fueled by bravado and curiosity, decided to venture into the Grand Marquee on Halloween night. Among them was Jake, a skeptic and self-proclaimed ghostbuster who scoffed at the stories that surrounded the theater. "Ghosts are just tales to scare children," he laughed, recording the experience for his growing YouTube channel. As they entered the theater, the air was thick with dust and the remnants of forgotten grandeur. The once opulent chandeliers hung askew, and the velvet seats were torn and faded. Jake's friends set up cameras, eager to capture evidence of the paranormal, while he dismissed their fears. "It's just an old building. Let's find some ghosts." As they made their way to the stage, a cold breeze swept through the auditorium, chilling them to the bone. "Did you feel that?" one of his friends whispered, glancing nervously at the darkened corners of the room. Jake rolled his eyes, insisting it was just the draft from the broken windows. Suddenly the lights flickered, casting eerie shadows that danced along the walls. The group jumped, but Jake remained unfazed. "It's just faulty wiring. Come on, let's check the stage." They climbed onto the creaky wooden floor, and as they did, a strange sensation washed over them, like being watched. In the center of the stage lay a dusty, tattered top hat, perfectly positioned as if waiting for its owner. Jake picked it up, holding it up to the light. "This is just a prop," he laughed, but his bravado wavered as he felt an unnatural chill creep up his spine. The hat seemed to pulse with an energy he couldn't explain. "Let's do the trick," one of his friends suggested, half joking. "Jake can be Alaric," laughter echoed in the empty theater, but Jake felt a sudden sense of unease. He turned the hat over in his hands, and at that moment a deep rumble resonated through the building. The lights flickered again, this time plunging them into darkness. "Okay, that's creepy," Jake admitted, trying to mask his fear. They fumbled for their phones, using the flashlights to cut through the blackness. Just then, they heard the sound of footsteps, heavy, deliberate, echoing from behind the stage. "What was that?" one friend gasped, gripping Jake's arm tightly. Jake felt the color drain from his face, but his stubbornness pushed him forward. "It's probably just the building settling. Let's check it out." As they moved cautiously toward the backstage area, the air grew thick with tension. The old stage curtains fluttered as if stirred by an unseen hand. Jake felt a pull, a compulsion to move closer, despite the terror gnawing at him. In the dim light, they found an old trap door leading to the basement. "Should we go down?" another friend whispered, clearly reluctant. Jake, ever the provocateur, nodded. "What's the worst that could happen?" They descended into the darkness, their lights revealing damp stone walls and a musty smell that overwhelmed their senses. As they reached the bottom, a soft glow flickered in the corner of the room, illuminating a small mirror propped against the wall. Intrigued, Jake moved closer, peering into the glass. The reflection that stared back was not just his own. Behind him he saw a shadowy figure cloaked in darkness, its face obscured. "Do you see that?" he gasped, spinning around, but the room was empty. His friends stared at him, eyes wide with fear. "What's wrong?" one asked. "You look like you've seen a ghost." "Back to the stage," Jake commanded, trying to shake off the growing dread. As they hurried back up the stairs, the atmosphere shifted. It felt charged, electric, as if the very essence of the theater had come alive. When they reached the stage, the lights flickered back on, revealing the theater as it once was, vibrant and full of life. Alaric's figure stood at the center, dressed in a pristine tuxedo, his eyes gleaming with a sinister light. "Welcome, welcome!" he called, his voice echoing off the walls, both inviting and terrifying. The friends screamed, backing away in terror. "You shouldn't have come here," Alaric said, a chilling smile spreading across his face. "It's showtime." Jake's bravado shattered as he realized the truth. The magician had never vanished. He had been trapped in the theater, feeding off the fear of those who dared to disturb his final performance. The trap doors slammed shut behind them, sealing their fate. As Alaric raised his hands, the stage transformed, a whirlwind of light and shadow engulfing them. The audience roared with applause, unseen but omnipresent, urging them into the performance. The friends grasped each other tightly, hearts racing as the world around them dissolved into a surreal nightmare. And so they became part of the show, lost to time, forever haunting the Grand Marquee, just as Alaric had done. In the years to come, the theater would remain abandoned, But on Halloween night, if you dared to approach it, you might hear the echoes of a performance gone wrong, the laughter of an unseen audience, and the desperate cries of souls trapped in an eternal act, reminders of what happens when curiosity leads to forbidden places.